Good afternoon to everybody. Shall I speak English? I can speak English or Portuguese. I don't know. You see, for me it's easier Portuguese, but I can, speak perhaps a dialect of English. Well, I speak English in okay. Well, you see, my talk, I think, first of all, most of what I'm going to talk here is perhaps a sort of a rerun of what we've seen here, because mostly what Luis Davidovich said yesterday, and then Cesar Camacho, and then Claudia, and then other people. So I decided to change a little bit, and I'm going to be more restrictive, and I give, perhaps, maybe I see many people in the audience that knows by heart what I'm going to say here, and if you leave, I don't mind, right? So I chose to, well, of course, give some of my ideas, and then I'll talk about this center that we have as what I believe is one proposal for changing the states of affairs in mathematical science in Brazil, right? Of course, this is not invented by me. This is what most people do all over the world, in America, in Europe, and even in Asia and China. And but in here, it's quite unusual. And Claudia has been there, and many people have been there. And you see, it is quite rewarding when you see how you can get the students involved and the enthusiasm of the students with this activity. It's a very simple activity. It's not anything that, as I said, that we invented, but it has been very successful. And well, so the idea behind it is these phrases: mathematical science, contributions to society. And I want to make it very clear that when I talk about mathematical sciences, I involve computer sciences, statistics, and mathematics at least. Many times other things. Of course, nowadays, you see, when you say that, you already transmit the idea of interdisciplinarity, which is so much in talked about in everywhere you go. I'll show you some examples of 2 weeks ago, and of course in America and Europe this has been said and talked and for a longer time than here. You saw that 200 courses in data sciences. Cesar showed here in America, where we are going to have 2 in only next year. So, I have to use this thing here. Huh? You have to be very careful with this. Eh? Yeah. You see, to start, to give you an idea of what I think is mathematical science in Brazil, I put this try something. Where I see the social contribution from math science is the top, by what mathematical science can deliver to society. You see, this involves, of course, teaching, involves university, involves also the real contributions in terms of GDP or whatever. I'll show you examples all over the world where people have tried to measure that quite successfully. And scientifically, actually, measure scientifically what is the contribution of the mathematical science to society. In my opinion, or in my way of seeing it, this thing in the top is based on these 3 things. So mathematics, the research, which is what we could translate very easily in theoretical mathematics, let's say. And then you have education, and you have the real applications. In Brazil, as you know, this is very strong. We have now the Avila, and we have IMPA, and we have very good programs here in Unicamp, in USP São Paulo, Fortaleza, and so on. It's quite, let's say, it's not only that we have IMPA in Rio, but we have others centers, and quite a few of them spread almost all over Brazil. Perhaps not only the north region is not well developed yet. Education. This is quite difficult. We may be, we're still quite behind on that, especially the mathematics education or computer science education at the school level, that's what I mean. And I think in that regard, the universities have a quite a debt to society, because I don't think we do good enough in training teachers. That's my opinion. But you see, I'm not going to discuss that because, first of all, I'm not an expert. I don't understand the problem, and also I see that there are many people trying to do that, as people mentioned here. We have these ProfMat, we have these the Pro OpenMap, which are attempts of making progress on that area. But then, if we are weak in that, in my opinion, we are even weaker in that regard. Someone mentioned here in what I've seen that most of applied mathematics, for instance, is done in engineering, it's spread over. We not managed to get together and get stronger. And the perception in society, in my opinion, is that of mathematics is something that's only to trouble you. It's something that someone invented, and that this is just to make your life worse. And if you ask even our students, you see, our PhD students, the idea, Claudia mentioned something like that. The idea is that mathematics is something that I have to do to get a professorship or a place in a university where I'm going to teach and reproduce it, but it's nothing more than that. So, for instance, our PhD students, even in applied mathematics, they don't expect to get a job at a company. They expect to get a job at another university and keep this cycle going. And I think this is quite a lot to blame on ourselves. Ourselves, I mean, professors or whatever you call it, like me, like many of you sitting in this audience. Because, first of all, our programs, PhD programs, are too strict, too, believe you or not, for instance, until very recently, I'm not sure if this is different now, but in my program, a student was not allowed to leave for 6 months to do an internship in a company. You see? And I think many of the programs will do that. CAPS don't allow that. FAPESP is very reluctant, even if he gets funding from the company. You see, all over the world, probably that your university, if someone offers for a student to leave for 6 months, even if the project is not to do with his PhD project, they leave it. Because, this is an opportunity for getting network when the company get more employable, knowing new things, living with other people, and so on and so forth. So, this leg of this tripod is, in my opinion, very, very, very weak. And, SEMEI is one attempt of strengthening that. And I would like to see many other initiatives. And as I know now, it's the only one which is actually robust or having been going for a long time. Other attempts lived for 3 years, 2 years, and died. one of them apparently is the one initiative by Yuan. He's not here anymore, but as I understand, the things are not going very well in Paraná. Oh yeah, I have to use this thing here. So, that's what I said. Research, where is the light? Oh, the light is behind here. So research, as I said, we stand sort of very well. Fields medal, group 5 IMU. Education, we fare very behind. But we have initiatives like that, and which I not discuss because I don't understand. But applications, I think we're still behind. I claim that we are, actually. Proposals for change. Well, these proposals for change. Work for increase the mathematical science academic interaction. Improve the infrastructure for facilitating this interaction. Because you see, this is one thing that is very interesting in Brazil. Because I don't know about, perhaps you told that, but and I didn't catch. But here, if a company comes to Unicamp, for instance, and until recently, maybe this has changed here, but what I'm talking is I'm pretty sure that most of Brazil works like that. If someone from Unicamp finds a company that wants to do a project together, even everything is fair and square, it starts a big problem, because you have to write a contract to do, and this is all put into these players. We don't have support for that, legal support, you see? So in this, of course, puts many people out, because you see, it's a nightmare, especially here, it's a nightmare, you know? It is a nightmare everywhere, but you know, this person from the university have even difficult with how much to charge. What's the price? Is it 1 million, 1,000, what it is? You see? How much is going to the people talk about 5 and 20%. This is another problem, because you have 5% to the department, 5% to the university, 5% to someone, 5%, you know. So this is a difficult thing. So one thing that we try to do in this semi is having an infrastructure, people who understand the laws, people who can give a reply or at least write a contract in 5 days or 10 days, right? Another problem, which is a particular problem in Brazil, HPC is a big problem. We don't have much of an infrastructure that public. Of course, we have sort of a HPC in the weather center, or Petrobras, or the taxman and so on. But public, even if FAPESP fail completely in that, in my opinion. Because at the one stage, FAPESP gave money to buy a computer. And the only motivation that computer should be the 500 top computer. They have this list of the top 500. And of course, when we bought the computer, it was for a few weeks in the top 500. And as I hear, this computer was, the rest of its life, it was used as many single machines. You see, most of the time. Promote course in activities for industry. I saw that in your university you seem to have something like that also. I was going to ask that, but then I didn't want to take your time to many questions. But we start an MSc course with industry, where we try to retrain people from industry. And this works very well, because you put people in contact. And then this last activity, which is the workshops and study groups and modeling camps that we have promoted over the 5-6 years, and which has been a big success as far as I can measure. Of course, I'm the sort of main player in that, and people, when you are the showman used to think that everyone is applauding. So it's very, I believe, I keep asking people what they think, and they always tell me that it's more wonderful and so on, but maybe. So how people do these things, I put only 3 sites in there. I could actually, can I actually go into these sites, or is it easy? Yeah. Well, you see, I don't think I'll go into them. But you see, you have many examples all over the world of centers like this. Of course, those are structures much larger than what I'm talking about here. You see, our financing is something like, what, $20 million in 5 years. Perhaps the IMA in the US takes 10 times that in every year. You see? And in the US, the IMA is one of them. Right? You see? They have 5, 6 or centers like that. In Europe, they have this initiative, EU Mathin, which involves Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, and so on. It's based in Germany at the moment. I'm not inventing we are not inventing anything. You see, just to not to repeat what people had done here. So I'm going to quote 3 or 4 of these studies. These studies were done by these consulting companies. This one was done by Deloitte in 3 years ago, about the impact of mathematical science in the UK. So their conclusion, you can read from there. You see, so the mathematical science is very impactful in society. It brings a lot of wealth to society, and much more than the investment made, basically. And well, those are the numbers. I'm not going to read for you because you can read it from the screen. And in Europe, there are other studies, like this one, although those are still UK. Is a more detailed chart from the previous one, right? From this one. This is just the reading of these.
What is MSR? The quantifiable impacts of MSR in 2010.
Mathematical science research, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Actually, it is written here.
Yes.
I sort of said it by heart, but...
Thank you so much.
The chart tells the story by itself, you see. So the benefits, manufacturing, and all the contribution of the mathematical science to many activities in the UK economy. And then we have studies in, I think this is Dutch, in Holland. Deloitte did the same. And the conclusions are sort of the same, you see. And then they just released one in Spain. By the way, this consultancy is also work in Brazil. They have a office here, and the Spanish was very keen that perhaps we should make a move towards them to try to do some study in Brazil, because you see, people are moving in this direction, because this is a way of convincing governments and the officials of the importance of the mathematical science to society and to contribution to the economy. So the more we have this sort of thing, the better for everybody, see? I don't know if we could do that in Brazil, because of course these studies cost a lot of money, and certainly SB market would not be afforded. They had to be financed by someone else than societies, perhaps. But perhaps we could join force with SBM as the computing science and physics, the people from statistics. And this is the French one. The French also did one, and also, I think it's 2018. I can read it here. There is also a white paper by the British government, actually the British Parliament. You know that the British, they are very good on these things. They don't guess things, you know. They are in some way. They do like the Chinese. They plan things ahead. Apart from the fact that in there is not compulsory, democracy works. And you see, this is perhaps it's too much text in that. I'm sorry about that, but I just want to. This is the conclusion of this white paper. This white paper is many. It was committed and done by Philip Bond, the professor I think at Cambridge, and it was released last year. It caused quite a big uproar in Britain, in America, because of his conclusions and his recommendations. And then I finished in this ICIAM Valencia. ICIAM stands for International Conference Industrial and Applied Mathematics. And you see, this is a big conference that happens every 4 years. And in my opinion, is a sort of summary of applied mathematics and industrial mathematics, what is going on in the world. And we had 90 parallel sessions, just to give you an idea of the size of the conference. It's a huge conference. And if you go, you see, I sort of meandering in some of these, of course you cannot see 10% of it. But you see, the emphasis is all on this data. Data science and artificial intelligence is everywhere. And unfortunately, we are very behind, because we are now starting to talk about that. And just to finish, this is the opening ceremony of the ICIAM Valencia, and this was delivered by the king. This is a 10 minutes speech. Of course, I'm not going to show you the 10 minutes. I selected just one or 2 minutes where he, well, it is not showing the thing here.
Você tem que fechar essa apresentação e abrir o outro. Clica nela.
Clica nela? Como é que eu clico nela? Ah, daqui? Clica, verdade. So, if you can just listen to what he says, I think for a king, you see, he did very, very well in this speech, to be honest. Because, you see, you wouldn't expect he very knowledgeable the area, or of course the people who prepared the speech. No. But that shows that the Spanish government is very well involved with promoting applied mathematics and industrial mathematical science, that's what I mean. So this is my talk, and I finish with the King's speech. Hope it works.
Similarly, Spanish mathematics, I am not an expert in the field, allow me to admit, but I do know that Spanish mathematics is enjoying a remarkable good health and is highly valued. The Shanghai Ranking Consultancy has listed 3 Spanish institutions among the top 100 universities for mathematics in 2019. Moreover, Spanish research centers such as the Basque Center for Applied Mathematics, the Instituto de Ciências Matemáticas, and the Barcelona Graduate School of Mathematics have led the Spanish mathematical research to rank, we've already heard that, 7th in the world by number of citations. In fact, mathematics is today one of Spain's greatest assets in science and innovation. This discipline produces high quality basic science, but as you all know very well, it will also serve more and more every day as a vector for technological development and innovation regarding most of the major challenges in basic areas such as health, energy supply, biodiversity, environmental sustainability, weather, you name it. Mathematics is essentially relevant in technologies associated with artificial intelligence, a field in which Spain and Europe are making a considerable effort at all levels. In this context, data science is particularly significant as it enables the mining of useful information from the data we generate through statistical tools and machine learning. That's where those famous algorithms come into play. According to the experts, it is an undisputed fact that in the past 2 years, we have produced a greater volume of data at a global level than throughout the whole of the preceding periods of our history. The real revolution lies in the possibility of harnessing these data to improve people's lives. There are endless examples, like designing cars that analyze data on the surrounding environment so that they are able to drive themselves, help you avoid risks, or call for maintenance. In health, by creating algorithms capable of making diagnostic decisions by interpreting X-rays or genetic information, and the list would go on and on and on. Furthermore, important sectors such as finance, railways, aerospace, energy use mathematics intensively and therefore need to employ mathematicians. This has unquestionably contributed to make the double major in physics and mathematics become, and this was a big surprise to me, the most popular degree option in Spain for the past 5 years.
Very good, huh? Questions?
Un comentário. Eu estive em Santander, na Universidade de Cantabria, agora em finais de abril, e di aulas nesse curso de dupla graduação, física e matemática. São os alunos maravilhosos, é impressionante. E os professores, que são professores de matemática velhos, assim como eu, eles estão surpresos de como virou a disciplina, os estudos que são mais procurados e são os melhores alunos. Antes era sempre, não sei, advocacia, engenharia, medicina, né, que levava os melhores alunos. Agora todos na Espanha estão fazendo física e matemática e essa dupla graduação, e você percebe como melhorou ali o material, né? Eles elevaram a qualidade do ensino, porque os alunos são melhores, e todos acabam com emprego nas empresas. Nenhum fica, são poucos que ficam para fazer doutorado, de fato. Eles conseguem emprego logo. É uma revolução, é o mesmo na França. Na França também tem esse fenômeno. Vamos ver quando é que chega aqui.
Professor, na sua experiência, onde a gente pode estar errando para pensar, ver resultados como esse, o seu próprio grupo trabalhando muito esse conceito de interdisciplinariedade nas matemáticas em geral, né? Você vê países colhendo resultados há pelo menos 5 anos já desfrutando dessa vertente. E aí a minha pergunta fica, onde é que a gente está errando, onde a gente está deixando de olhar para institucionalmente a gente ter uma cultura sistemática de desvalorização de pesquisas que sejam interdisciplinares?
Bom, eu acho que a culpa, o sistema tem culpa, lógico, mas a gente tem uma grande culpa. Por quê? porque os departamentos não conversam entre eles, os departamentos disputam entre eles, é uma briga enorme, uma coisa enorme. Os financiadores têm certa culpa, porque mesmo a FAPESP tem regras malucas quando você tenta flexibilizar a formação, né? Tem aquele caso que eu citei ontem aqui da Unicamp, que fez uma proposta, fez tudo, não sei o quê, chegou lá em Campinas, aí eu até ontem na intervenção que fiz, falei a razão errada. O Martins depois me corrigiu, disse que a razão foi que a CAPES deu, foi que os professores do curso interdisciplinar não eram dedicados ao curso, eles eram de diferentes formações. Era meio óbvio essa resposta, né? Não precisava ter falado, não feito nada para que chegasse a essa conclusão. Então eu acho que os nossos programas têm muito a mudar, viu? Honestamente. Quando um programa não permite que um aluno vá fazer um estágio numa empresa, corta a bolsa, nem que tiver bolsa, veja, como que você quer construir interdisciplinaridade em cima de um negócio desse que é rígido, que topólogo não fala com sei lá o quê, entende? É uma coisa assim meio esquizofrênica. Eu fico pensando, meio esquizofrênico, porque todo mundo... E as nossas universidades são terríveis nisso. O andar de cima, quando você fala com ele, nossa, eles parecem uma maravilha assim, não é? Não é? Mas depois, na prática, eles botam o pé na sua frente toda hora. Toda hora que você pode tentar caminhar. Então, é difícil, mas eu acho que a gente tem que insistir e tem que denunciar. E não pode compactualizar com eles. Esse que eu acho. Você não pode ir lá com o reitor e falar para ele, olha, está errado isso. Entende? Está errado porque senão nós não chegamos nunca lá. A gente não chega nunca. Agora, nós precisamos também, a gente precisa abrir um pouco a cabeça e deixar as coisas fluírem de uma certa maneira um pouco mais flexíveis nos nossos programas, principalmente nos programas. Veja, eu não tenho nada contra matemática pura, não tenho nada contra quem gosta de estudar topologia, ou sei lá, álgebra pura, ou álgebra. Mas, para aqueles que gostam, a gente precisa flexibilizar o ambiente e permitir que as coisas aconteçam. Minha opinião.
Eu achei super interessante, mas eu não sou FAPESP, mas nem vou defender a FAPESP. Então, eu só queria mencionar a questão do HPC, tá, que você falou, porque, como você sabe também, primeiro tem a coisa do equipamento multiusuário, né, o programa da FAPESP, sobre o qual não vou falar, mas mencionei, mas a tendência, cada vez mais, é de ter alguns centros que terão HPC e outros vão compartilhar. Então, eu só vou dar o exemplo, de novo, do European Open Science Cloud, que é uma infraestrutura que já está sendo montada para toda a Europa, para todos os países compartilharem, e a União Europeia escolheu 3 lugares para terem supercomputadores, e os outros vão se conectar em rede, acabou. Para, digamos assim, economizar recursos e também a questão de gastos e tudo mais. Então, isso está por detrás um pouco desta ideia. Veja a University of Washington, by the way, onde o filho da Ícia estuda, e eles desenvolvem um monte de pesquisa de supercomputação, mas eles usam a cloud da Amazon e da Microsoft. Mas, não é essa a minha pergunta, era só uma observação. O grande custo e o grande investimento, como você mencionou, continua sendo a formação de recursos humanos e o aperfeiçoamento contínuo. Como é que você enxerga que a gente pode quebrar essas barreiras de silos? Porque, como você bem falou, começa com a gente. O que a gente pode fazer para aumentar, diminuir as barreiras? Porque isso também custa muito tempo você aprender o vocabulário. Eu tenho um projeto lá de você para dar conforto às galinhas, não é isso?
Tem. Daqui da Unicamp, peguei.
Mas é
dentro do CPD.
Martins. Pois é.
Com Martins.
Quer dizer, quanto tempo se leva para entender um frango?
Bom, isso é o que o Martins tem que responder, eu não sei.
Eu sei, mas mesmo assim... Mas note, quer dizer, é um outro tipo, não é só o silo, é porque é mais confortável. Então, vocês, principalmente que trabalham em matemática aplicada, o que vocês sugerem para a gente quebrar isso?
Tá bom. Olha, primeiro deixa eu falar do HPC. Eu não me expressei bem, eu reconheço. Quando eu falei do passado, eu falei da FAPESP, eu falei do passado. Esse exemplo que eu tentei falar aí, é um exemplo que aconteceu há cerca de 10 anos. A política atual da FAPESP, inclusive eu digo é o CEPID, está, nesse momento, trabalhando para transformar o nosso cluster, que é o maior cluster universitário que tem no Brasil hoje, a não ser aquele lá do Rio de Janeiro, lá do LCC. Nós só perdemos para aquele, universitariamente. Nós estamos, nesse momento, trabalhando para que ele seja um equipamento multiusuário. Ele já é um equipamento quase multiusuário, porque, além do pessoal do CEPID, ele atende... Nós temos hoje mais ou menos 300 projetos funcionando no cluster. Desses, 200 são do CEPID e 100 são de usuários externos. Um grande usuário, por exemplo, nosso é a Exalc Piracicaba, com o Instituto Amazon para rastreamento de queimada, essas coisas aí que acontecem para o Brasil afora. Então, veja, a política atual da FAPESP, eu apoio completamente, certo? Quando eu disse nós nunca tivemos sucesso, até muito pouco tempo, sobre esse problema. As tentativas de instalação de equipamentos de high performance computing financiados por quem quer que seja, era muito aquilo de cada um pede um clusterzinho. E isso aí não funciona, como todos nós sabemos. E o grande problema foi que o CEPID, eu tenho orgulho de falar que nós resolvemos, é que nós, lá em São Carlos, claro que não sou eu, de novo, é o apoio da universidade, é o apoio de um monte de gente, do meu departamento, do instituto e tudo mais, nós temos uma instalação onde tem apoio, onde tem infraestrutura, primeiro, de energia elétrica, ar-condicionado, etc., que nesse momento está falhando. Funcionou por 5 anos, mas como tudo no Brasil, chega um momento que não sei o que acontece. Mas muito mais importante, apoio de suporte técnico. Porque, como vocês sabem, HPC é uma atividade que é muito maravilhosa. Depois que o programa está rodando redondinho, depois de suar muitas camisas, para botar esse programa rodando redondinho e fazendo tomando as vantagens todas dos processadores. Mas para chegar nesse estágio, é uma dificuldade enorme. Todo mundo sabe disso, quer dizer, todo mundo, não sei, mas aqueles que tentaram usar HPC... E o que acontece é que a maioria das pessoas desiste no meio do caminho e fala, que vá para o inferno, eu vou rodar cada um num processo mesmo, manda lá um monte de processos. E aí você compra uma infraestrutura, porque num HPC desse, o que custa caro não são os processadores, é a comunicação entre eles, como você sabe, porque a comunicação tem que ser quase na banda do processamento, senão é o gargalo. E aí você compra puxa a vida desse equipamento e cada um usa ele com um processador separado, como se tivesse comprado uma bandalhada de PCs instalado na sua sala, que custaria 1/10 e faria o mesmo serviço no final. Bom, com relação à sua pergunta, veja você, eu não tenho uma resposta. Essa aqui é uma tentativa, certo? Que tem funcionado no exterior, mas, veja, isso aqui é uma gota no oceano. Então, por isso que eu vivo quase que falando que nem o pastor da igreja aí, que a gente tem que converter mais pessoas. Entende? Nós temos que converter mais pessoas a se aventurarem a ter projetos com empresas, a ter uma infraestrutura. Eu gostaria de ver, por exemplo, coisas como o CMA replicados em outros lugares. Entende? Eu não sei, em outros estados talvez seja muito difícil por causa do financiamento. O financiamento da FAPESP é primordial e foi primordial, principalmente para nós começarmos. O meu sonho é que o CMEI, depois de 11 anos de financiamento do CEPID, ele sobreviva com dinheiro próprio. Esse é o meu sonho. Não sei se nós vamos conseguir. Neste momento, nós temos de projetos quase o mesmo tanto que de financiamento que nós recebemos da FAPESP. Não é? Então, em 5 anos, nós conseguimos já match o que a FAPESP nos dá. Não é? Não sei se vai sobreviver. Isso é também uma incógnita.
Obrigada.
Vamos agradecer ao Poti e vamos ao nosso último